So Tony's calling from Virginia. Tony pronouns are he, him. Tony's a deconstructing theist, wants to discuss finding purpose outside of religion. So this is kind of a repeat of the call that we had earlier today. And once again, I will recommend, Tony, that you go to the website, theatheistbook.com, where there's a book and a documentary, but we're happy to address the question outside of that as well. So what's going on?
I appreciate that. I thought it was amusing that the last caller on this topic was also named Tony.
Right.
Yeah.
Her thoughts very much echoed my own. I'm not a former Jehovah's Witness. I am, I would say, deconstructing theist. I've worked in ministry in Christianity as a youth pastor. I've studied, religion at length. It's been my entire life. I haven't been actively practicing for the last several years, but I've listened to a lot of the programs within Atheist YouTube, and Owen, I've been a big fan of your stuff for a while, and Matt, I've had utmost respect for your no nonsense approach and take all comers kind of attitude towards it. And I think the thing I'm in this place where I can't let go of the notion that there should be some meaning, some purpose, something behind all of this. And I fully accept scientific discoveries and belief. I definitely believe that, the Big Bang and evolution and all the things that science, discovers. I don't question any of that. I just wonder if we're not discovering sort of the code behind it all. And maybe there is some reason behind our being here. And I'm just kind of, I want there to be a purpose. I know that it's a one thing. It's not necessarily that I look around and necessarily see evidence for it. But I've been on this fence for a while, and that's just kind of where I'm at. And a part of it is wanting there to be purpose. Part of it is feeling that I'm still looking for my purpose. I'm 40 years old, and I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, and that kind of thing. And any thoughts that you guys might have to kind of help me wrestle with this idea would be much appreciated.
Yeah, I guess I can talk about it. I don't think I wrestle with having a purpose personally. I think I more wrestle with the fact that it comes to an end at some point, and that's it. And I have found that a lot of the time when people talk about it, they feel like there should be something on the other side, I guess. But I personally just make my own purpose. Like I have all kinds of purposes. My purpose is to make sure that my kid is more prosperous than I was or that I am. I'm not sure I fully understand the need to create an independent purpose, but either way, the fact is religion gives us false purpose. It gives us false hope, false things that we can't, it doesn't really contribute to our lives in any way. So it's almost like we're being freed from, as Matt said, having another purpose imposed upon us that doesn't do anything for us in the first place. So now we can fill it with whatever purpose we want there to be. You say you don't know what you want to be when you grow up.
Yeah, if I may interject, maybe purpose is the wrong word, but I guess meaning. The answer to why we're here in the first place, not necessarily my purpose, my life as an individual, but like
why would it be more comforting? Why would it be more comforting if the why you were here was some externally? Why is that better? Why is it a problem to say we're here without any reason, without any guidance, without any instruction, that we are the product of a natural world, and that's the only reason? What's wrong with that?
Well, I think some of it comes back to what Owen was saying about that notion of that eventually this does end. That there will come a point when there's the heat death of the universe and whatever, and eventually anything that has ever existed will sort of fizzle out and be forgotten and so forth. And
okay,
I guess as big and cosmic and
does that
important.
Does that make life not worth living? Like, I'm going to have to eat. I'm going to eat here in a little while, and I'm going to have to eat again tomorrow. Does that mean today's meal was wasted?
That's the cornerstone of the question that of what I'm trying to answer is if there ultimately is no
And I
meaning
don't even
behind it,
understand
then
because
where's
I just don't get this, because I just asked a question where the obvious answer to anyone and everyone that's ever existed should be no. So does the fact that I have to eat again tomorrow mean today's meal was wasted? I would think the answer is an instant obvious no. Why not? Why isn't that the instant obvious answer?
I
I
mean, you
think the
enjoy,
metaphor is
right?
a little simplistic on some level.
I'm sorry. Did I just repeat something and ask you for clarification and you decided to say that my metaphor was a little simplistic?
I mean that's my you said it's an obvious no, and I think to compare yes, the answer to your question is no, that doesn't make today's meal wasted, but I think comparing a single meal to the entire scope of existence.
So I asked a question where the obvious answer was no. You acted as if it was absurd to ask. I clarified it. Then you decided to suggest that the problem was that it was a simplistic metaphor, and now you've actually answered the question. So, if in fact today's meal wasn't wasted, does the fact that life is eventually going to end mean that the life you spent was wasted?
I don't have a good answer to that question. That's why
So my
I'm
simplistic
questioning why
metaphor,
I'm in this position.
my simplistic metaphor that was designed to get you to recognize that the obvious answer should apply to that as well, all of a sudden that's a problem. Is that because my metaphor is too simple or because you don't have an answer?
I mean, it could be both, if I'm being honest. I'm not
Cool.
trying to,
Cool.
invoke your ire. I understand your frustration in these things, and I'm not trying to be one of those difficult callers. I fail to see the direct correlation between comparing one
Why aren't you
meal
dead,
one day to the
Tony?
next.
Tony, why aren't you dead?
I've almost eaten a bullet many times in my life, so that's
Why haven't
because
you?
I'm too cowardly to pull the trigger.
So
Uh, there
so
have been times I've downed half a bottle of
pause,
tequila and woken up on.
listen, stop talking and listen. We're now in a very, very difficult area. And I don't need ire. I don't need slapbacks. This is a non-joking subject. There are many
100%.
people, there are many people who deal with thoughts of self-harm and self-termination. You have just expressed that you have been there before. I have not in the sense that you might be describing, but I know other people who have. None of us here are qualified to counsel on this, but for whatever reason you found, would you acknowledge that there are other reasons that don't have anything to do with a perception of oneself as cowardice? That in fact, there may be people would you think there are people who are choosing to live for perfectly acceptable reasons, like seeing the good?
Yeah, that's valid.
Is that for those people who do manage to see the good, is that impossible for you or for others who have difficulty seeing the good or may have never seen the good? Is it still possible for you to see that as well so that you have a reason other than a perceived cowardice to continue to persist?
Um, that's the part that I'm having difficulty making the leap with is finding the meaning, the purpose, the reason to go on, um, without there being some purpose behind it all. I mean, like I want to believe that I can have a positive impact, but even though there eventually will come a point that impact is finite.
Like, what do you enjoy
even the
doing?
people that
Doing just every
Say
day?
again?
Like, do you have a thing that you do? Like, I play video games sometimes. Do you ever do anything like that?
I do. There are a lot of things that I enjoy.
Well, give me a couple. Just give me two things you do.
Video games is one, and I like shooting pool.
Okay.
We're twins.
Here's my experience with it. Yeah, it's going to come to an end. And unfortunately, there isn't something on the other side. I don't know that the Christian interpretation of what's on the other side is ideal, but either way, I can shoot pool for an hour today. And tomorrow I can shoot pool again. And the day after that, I can shoot pool again. That's been my driving force. I get to enjoy things on from one day to the next. And one day I'm not going to be able to enjoy those things anymore. And that gives me all the more reason to enjoy them now. I enjoy the hell out of eating a ham sandwich. It's like borderline sinful how much I enjoy eating a ham sandwich. So I'm going to eat those things until the day I die. And I'm going to enjoy every second of it. That doesn't mean, anything else that I have or haven't done has no meaning. I mean, we're imposing our own meaning on it, and it seems like the real problem is that we're not going to be able to continue doing it in the future. But we might as well enjoy it now. And as I've always put it, and I'm sorry, this may make things worse. I've always said, when I die, the universe ends. So my goal is to make other people's universes as good as possible for the time that their universes exist, and enjoy my universe as much as I can. That's it. That's what we've got. We don't have anything else, right?
I mean, I try to live by the idea of making, try to leave the world better than it was when you got here.
Yeah. Make other people's universes a little bit better. Make sure that others have, as much time as they can hanging out with their kid or with the, playing pool or whatever it is they like to do. That is the thing that gives me a motivation to get up in the morning. If I have something extra to give, then I give it to make sure others enjoy their lives too, And I've never actually dealt with what you're dealing with either, just like Matt hasn't. I've come to find that a lot of the time it comes down to an actual imbalance and inability to enjoy things. So I don't know, it may be helpful for you to actually talk to somebody about it that it's actually qualified, because I don't want you to be living unhappy. I don't want you, I do enjoy life myself, and I have up times and I have down times like everybody, but overall it's good. I want you to have an overall good experience too. I want everybody to. I want to make everybody's universes good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't. For the people who are finding it difficult, I mean, first of all, I'm always going to recommend the Secular Therapy Project. So it's seculartherapy.org, and then you can find counselors that are science-based and not going to point you towards religion or spiritual, supernatural stuff, and deal with the problems as best you can. There may not be any sort of easy solution to the problem of hard solipsism, the problem of hard nihilism, of if you're one of the people who are incapable seemingly of finding the value or worth to continue. What I will say is I would think that what you may be labeling cowardice may in fact not be cowardice, but may be a recognition that there's likely meaning and likely value beyond your immediate ability to perceive, and that persisting is the way you have a chance of finding out what values and what meaning is you're just on the edge of discovering. And as long as that remains a hope, and hope with an empathetic foundation and a rational foundation is one of the best things we can offer. There's a reason why I'm more hopeful now than I was a year ago, despite the fact that some things are dramatically worse and could get incredibly well. We could be heading for civil war. That is not outside the realm of possibility. And yet I am cautiously optimistic because while recognizing that that is a real possibility now, and recognizing that we may be completely screwed on a number of fronts, I'm at least optimistic that I have a better understanding or a more accurate understanding of what direction things are likely to go. And we now have a better understanding of who is more likely to help make the world better versus not.
And you know what? If things continue to get worse, fuck it. There's nothing you can do to change certain things. So enjoy your life while you've got it and try to make everybody else's lives better along the way. I tried to do that on a grand scale through, voting, lobbying, politicians and things. But if I can't do that, if that line is cut off for me, I do it on a local level. Just the people in my direct vicinity try to make their lives better so that their universe is.
I didn't peg you for a cynic, Owen, but that definitely resonates with me. I like that idea.
It's hard not to be.
Let go of the things you can't control.
Yeah, let go. Enjoy it. Enjoy what you got while you're here. Enjoy playing pool. Enjoy that ham sandwich.
Yeah.
Enjoy whatever,
And Matt, something that you were saying, I don't know if you enjoyed the show Game of Thrones, but there's a line that Tyrion has during the show, and he says, death is so final, but life is full of possibility. And I think that rather succinctly kind of sums up what you were saying there about the possibility and hope for the future and what have you. But I don't know. Again, I think part of it comes back to wanting there to be something behind it all, and if there isn't, then so be it. But I enjoy discussing philosophy and ideas about existence and so forth.
Well,
I don't think our reason for being here is to give hand jobs to some cosmic deity in the clouds. I think that's pointless. But I think maybe to prepare ourselves for something bigger beyond this level of existence, maybe there is a next step. I don't know.
Or maybe we've just done such a terrible job at shepherding this particular existence that you'd prefer that this was a place to wipe your feet before the next existence.
You know what makes me really sad is knowing that my mom is like 70 and has wasted all 70 years of her life not talking to her kids or enjoying herself. It's so important to enjoy what we've got now. And you know what? If there's something afterward, I can't prove it. I can't prove it false or true or whatever. So maybe. But while I'm here, I'm going to enjoy it and make everybody else's universes better because that's my moral starting point. Increasing happiness to the maximum amount that is within my control,
Yeah, I to kind of give an example of the opposite side of this. Somebody very close to me, their mother was diagnosed with cancer recently, and she's very religious. And because her life is kind of stagnant right now, she's opting to not do chemo and treatment because she figures if she gets to the grave sooner, she'll be better off. And her family is really struggling with that. And I think that's kind of the toxic side of belief and faith and whatever. And I definitely, don't advocate. And for the record, I have a counselor, I have a therapist. I have dealt with these, depression, anxiety issues all my life. I'm medicated and receiving treatment and so forth. And 1,000% anybody, if anything I've had to say resonates with you, please seek counseling, therapy, talk to somebody.
Right.
I'm very glad that I haven't been able to go that route because there's some things that I would have missed out on. But still, in those moments, it's so. Absolutely. It's very. I don't know how to describe it. I think there was a study some time ago that said that the suicidal ideations can take hold in as little as 11 seconds. That's all the time it takes from ideation to action in some cases. And if you've never felt that, then I envy you.
I have not. I have not. And that is the thing that tells me that there is something more than just like it's in, I don't know. It's like, for example, I've never struggled with with eating too much, but I know that it's one of the hardest things that people can deal with. And that tells me that there's something like different about me, how I think, how I'm built, or something's different. And I want, in an effort to kind of improve the world and make everyone's universe as good as possible, I want to try to help them figure out how to not be in that position, you know?
Mm-hmm. I can recognize intellectually that on a certain level, it's chemicals in my brain. It's some aspect of my brain that is not functioning the way that it should for a being that is designed to have survival instinct. Designed is the wrong term, but you know what I mean. To have a survival instinct. But you know, I can recognize that on an intellectual level, but it still doesn't make it any less poignant, any less intense. You know.
Yep. You got to find the stuff that works for you. And I get it. I'm not trying to be glib or dismissive of it at all. Just haven't had the same experience, haven't had to deal with it, don't know what works for others, don't know what works for you. Glad you're seeing, an expert. So.
And make everyone's lives around you as good as you can. That's my advice. Well,
I appreciate both of your words, and Matt, I apologize if I got up your nose a little bit there. I didn't intend to. I was trying to be genuine in my approach. I'm still out here. I'm not going to go out on the limb to say that I believe that there is a God, so to speak, but that there may be some force behind the universe and existence. I'm going to keep looking for one, and if I never find it, I don't know that I will necessarily mean a life wasted, but
keep going.
I want there to be.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I'm only seeking clarity. We got there.
If I find that answer, though, I'll give you a call and let you know. Okay.
Definitely. But on that note, Tony, we got to go. Thanks so much.
Hey there, everyone. We want you to check out our live shows. 6 days a week, 6 shows a week, 5 days a week, 6 shows. And also there are other channels coming. And this part is meaningless, but you could support this channel by watching the live shows, by checking out another episode. Tell the algorithm you want to stay here. You're not going to go off to some video of some super rich guy committing war crimes. You're going to stick around here and maybe you'll leave a comment. Or what else could they do, Eve?
They could head over to patreon.com/calltheline, right? Am I looking?
That's another thing. And they can
like
and they can subscribe. No, you got it right. I got it wrong the first time.
And they could also comment. Yeah.